City employer.
And we are live here at Jana's Marketplace for the Faribault Coaches Show. Welcome and thank you for listening in. We got some good things to talk about. I've got my friend Mike Jarvis here. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Good morning, Royal. Good morning, Faribault. I'm doing pretty good this morning.
Yeah, I'd like to get that down. You know how Robin Williams always says, "Good morning, Vietnam."
Good morning, Faribault.
Yeah, we got to come up with something. We got to figure that out. Yep. But anyway, hopefully everybody can hear us, and we are live at Jana's Marketplace. Stop on down for some really great food down here at Jana's. I'm going to talk a little bit today about her waffles. She has this really fancy waffle machine, and boy, that thing knocks out some great waffles. Have you ever had the waffles on your Mike?
I have not tried the waffles, but the pancakes are outstanding.
Yep, the pancakes are outstanding, but we got to try the waffles sometimes because I don't know what that machine does, but it's like, it's magic, I guess.
Right.
So stop down. Like I always say, you can get a cheeseburger for breakfast, or you can get
the classic
breakfast for lunch, or even a waffle for lunch.
Pecan caramel roll.
And a pecan caramel roll to go. Yes, definitely. Take that bad boy home with some butter and throw it in the microwave. It's awesome. And more calories than you need for a day. But that's okay. So today we've got a couple of guests here today. We've got Coach Tom Helgerson with the Faribault archery team. So Tom, come on in. Welcome and thanks for coming.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself and about the archery team.
Well, we've had this Faribault Falcon Archers for 9 years now. We started it at the Faribault Archery Club, and it is a school-based archery team. It's called NASP, National Archery in the Schools program, and there's a good number of teams in the state of Minnesota. We actually have a regional shoot, a state shoot, and this year we happen to have an archer that qualified for nationals. And nationals in Minnesota, you have a choice because we're in the middle of the states to go to a West National or an East. West was 2 weeks ago out in just south of Salt Lake City, and then next weekend it is down in Louisville, Kentucky, where it normally is. And there's 15,000 archers that go to that.
Wow. Any idea how many go to the one by Salt Lake City?
I think I seen 2,800.
Okay,
a lot smaller.
Okay, a lot smaller. Okay,
Yep.
Okay.
But there was a number of Minnesota teams that went to that one that qualified.
Okay. Now, is this a club sport or is it under the Minnesota High School League?
It is not 100% with the Minnesota High School League. It is more of a club sport. In Faribault here, we haven't adopted it. We've never gotten large enough to push for that. In 2018, I think we were at 44 archers between middle school teams and high school teams, and we had a non-competitive elementary team at that time too that they just practiced and basically brought it in. But the NASP program is taught in the middle school, and they have programs in the high school too with independent studies also. But you have to have at least 12 hours of in-school training to qualify for this program and to be on the team.
Okay. Well, as a former coach of high school bowling, which was a club sport, I can appreciate the club sport, and I'm not, I just wanted to figure out where we are in the hierarchy of things, and hopefully they will make it a Minnesota high school competitive sport.
Yep. I know there is some schools that actually will let their archers letter in it.
Okay.
Faribault hasn't adopted that yet, but I think we're working on it.
All right, we got to push for that. Let's get letters.
Yes.
For the archers.
This last year, I think we had 4 that were, or this current year that are seniors.
Okay, good,
Yep.
Good. Now, I knew 2 years ago or last year, Mike and I know a lady that had a daughter on the archery team, and I know she really enjoyed it, and she got quite proficient at it.
She did. Yep,
she was good.
Marissa, yeah.
Yeah, Marissa Nelson.
Yep.
Is that Marissa's last name?
I don't think it is.
No.
Okay.
I think it starts with a P.
All right. Anyway, shout out to Marissa. Sorry, I screwed up your name. But all right. So, can you tell me a little bit and tell the listeners a little bit about the equipment? Now, people think archery and they think going out and hunting and stuff. But there's a vast difference, correct me if I'm wrong, between a competition or target bow and a hunting bow. Is that correct?
There is. There is. We actually lose archers that may evolve too fast in the archery world to get to their $1,000 hunting bow when we shoot a $200 target bow. And all of our archers, doesn't matter if you're in middle school or if you're a senior in high school, all shoot the same bow and the same arrow.
Really?
And all the schools shoot the same thing to keep the playing field level. And the bows are adjustable, so your 60-pound middle school kid can shoot the same bow as a 6'4"
Yeah.
senior in high
So
school.
the draw tensions are going to be
Yep.
different, but they're all basically the same physical size, just different
Correct.
draw strength. What do you call it? Draw strengths?
Draw.
Tension?
Yep.
Draw tension. Okay. So that's very interesting. What do they do for sights on a competition bow?
There actually is none.
Really?
NASP is an
Wow.
open bow, bare fingers, and our sights are the tip of your arrow and your string in front of your eye.
Wow.
And you have the same anchor point, and it's some of the discipline of teaching this. And as a coach of doing this for a while and growing up a dad of 3 boys teaching them doing this, the gals actually follow the lead a lot better. When you give them the instructions, they follow them more than trying to do their own thing.
I would tend to believe that.
Yep.
I can see that.
Either way, I'd miss the target.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, no.
I
Mike, we
have.
can teach you.
Yeah, I don't think Mike's teachable. I've got just a little bit of archery experience because I used to live out on a hobby farm and I took up bow hunting per se. I went hunting a couple times, never killed anything, but it was fun to sit out there. But what I really enjoyed is I'd get home from work, I'd go out in my yard, I'd set up my targets, and I just loved shooting it. It was just a lot of fun to shoot. And that was, of course, with a hunting bow with sights and a release. Yeah, I think this type of archery is going to be a little more difficult than my hunting bow. So, well, let's bring in our guest, Shiloh Bongers. Good morning, Shiloh. Hi. How are you doing? How are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Now, you are the young lady that has qualified for nationals, correct? Mm-hmm. All right. How long have you been shooting archery?
I've been doing archery for 2 years.
Is that the correct term, shooting archery?
Could be. Yeah.
Close enough. Okay. For 2 years?
Yeah.
All right. How did you get into it?
I don't know. My friend Patty, she has done archery 1 year longer than I have, and one day she just asked me to go to archery practice with her, so I did, and that's how I joined.
And you kind of went, hey, this is fun, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So, 2 years isn't an exceptionally long time to be in a competitive sport before you get to go to nationals. Coach Tom, what's with the dramatic rise there in ability?
Hattie actually had been on the team for 3 years, but she had been shooting. The Faribault Archery Club has a Saturday morning youth shoot that runs January through March, and her parents have been bringing her to that for, I'm going to say, 6-7 years.
Okay.
She was pretty young when she started, and she enjoyed the sport of just shooting at our fun targets and balloons and fun things like that, to where she evolved into coming to the team and getting the same equipment like everybody else. And like any other competitive sport, with 2 friends doing it, one always wants to be better than the other. And I think that's why Shiloh got so good, is that she was shooting with Hattie that had some experience and always wanted to do as good or maybe better. You know, the
Yeah,
competition
is that
between the
true?
two.
Did you want to kind of beat your friend at this?
I don't. Part
And
of
it's
the
okay
time.
to say yes.
Part of the time.
Kind of.
No offense to Hetty, the friend out there, but you did kind of want to be a little competitive with her, huh?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Perfect.
So, do you practice year round? And how many hours a week do you put in practicing?
It starts in December and it went up to like March, and we only go twice a week for like 1.5 hours.
It's usually a little more than an hour. It depends. The team, because of COVID, gotten smaller. Prior to that, we used to have a separate middle school practice and a high school practice. And right now, we can do a combined one.
Okay.
We got about 24 to 26 archers, and like life, not everybody can make all the practices. We still know school is more important than practice, so make sure you get your schoolwork done, up to date, all that stuff, then come to practice. And even now with Shiloh practicing going to nationals, we're still having at least a 45-minute once a week, totally scheduled, just like regular practice we did all season long. And then, along with that, we know that we give them the skills and the tools to go home and practice also. You don't always have to practice with a bow and an arrow. We also issue them a string bow and uses the same muscles to get that muscle memory going and same anchor points, and they can practice that. And I think that's some of the structure we try to instill in them, that once you start on this, you want to keep going if you want to get better.
Is the archery club still based out of the Rice County Fairgrounds?
It is. And as a team member, you get a membership to the club.
Okay.
Which you can come and go and practice. There's different membership levels, and then we have our open shoots to where the kids can come and shoot. One thing with NASP is they shoot a different distance. They shoot meters compared to like Minnesota archery, MSAA shoots in yards.
Okay.
So it's a little different distances, but we still have targets set up and we have shooting lines. And,
Can parents, grandparents, guardians, can they bring their kids out and kind of introduce them to the archery concept at the Rice County Fairgrounds?
Yes.
Different times?
It's a good thing you bring that up. Is at Heritage Days during the parade, our team is going to hand out flyers for a camp we're going to do the following week. We're going to have some outdoor targets, because the archery club is only functional from September for the hunting season through May.
Okay.
And then we turn it back over to the fairgrounds, and they have a number of different events that go on throughout the year that they use that building for. So the archery club actually moves out.
Okay. So we're going to go back to Shiloh now, and obviously I think we've established that there is a total difference between archery for hunting and archery for target and competition. You're obviously in the target and competition. What aspects do you think it teaches you as just a human being? What does it teach you?
Well, when we're about to shoot, you have to be patient and stuff for the whistles, because it takes a long time for people to pull their arrows and stuff. So I think it teaches good, decent patience, and also hand-eye coordination.
Hand-eye coordination. There's got to be a lot of focus involved in this.
A lot of.
And it's got to become a natural focus, correct? It can't be something that it can't be something that you're trying too hard to focus on. It's got to be more of a natural, just a hand-eye coordination and a relax. Probably teaches you some breathing techniques, correct?
Yeah.
And you'd have to get that muscle memory. I think you talked a little bit about muscle memory. You'd have to get that muscle memory down, because you're holding the bow back, and these are compound bows, so you're not holding it back. If it's 60 pounds, you're not holding back all 60 pounds. So it's not quite as muscle strenuous, but still you've got to hold it until you're ready.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think you'll ever move on to hunting, or is this just something you want to do just strictly for the competition of it?
I don't know. I might just stay in competition, but who knows? I might hunt.
Okay. Are your parents hunters?
Yeah.
They are.
We don't really bow hunt.
Okay.
We use rifles and stuff.
Okay. Do you ever trap shoot?
Mm-mm.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Just kind of a...
We have some archers on the team that do both.
Yeah. I can see that.
We have a coach that coaches that also.
Yep. Yeah, I think I've talked to the archers a time or two over the last few years. Or excuse me, not the archers, the trap shooters a time or two. And, it's a very cool sport too, in my opinion. It teaches kind of a lot of the same things about the patience and...
Hand-eye coordination.
Yep.
And etiquette.
Etiquette, yeah.
The
That's a
respect
good
you
one.
got to have for your fellow archers.
Yeah. Now, there's also a huge amount of safety built into this too, because just the pictures I've seen of a competition, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, either Shiloh or Tom, but the pictures I've seen, you have a lot of targets set up and then parallel back, I don't know how many, I don't know what distance. Then you have all the archers in a line. So they're not terribly far away.
No,
and there's
10 meters and 15 meters.
10 meters and 15, okay. And there's got to be a lot of safety practiced in this, because they are holding a
Weapons.
device. I was avoiding trying to call it weapons, but holding a device that could really cause some serious pain if they turn the wrong way and let the arrow go, and it's like, oh, whoops, sorry, you didn't need that eye anyway.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the safety aspect of it, Shiloh.
Well, we have like whistle commands, and there's at one of the times, like if there's something wrong with anything, they'll like use the whistle, they'll like blow into it like rapid fire, and then we'll all have to like either sit at the line and put our bows down, or like put our bows back and return to our seats.
Okay.
And I mean, overall, it's pretty safe because
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yes.
yeah, like sometimes there's arrows that like hit the wall and they bounce back, but usually they don't like go all the way back to where everybody else is shooting.
Okay.
So like it's pretty safe if you like do it right and take the right precautions.
Do you shoot both 10 and 15 meters?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about the scoring of it. How does the scoring go?
Well, we shoot a total of 8 like rounds of arrows, and each round has 5 arrows each, and 2 of them.
Okay.
So our first round is a practice round, just so we know where to shoot and stuff, like where to aim at our 10 meter like round, and then we shoot 3 rounds of 5 there and score them, and then we move back to the 15, and then
Okay.
we shoot our practice round from there too, and then we shoot the 3 more rounds of arrows and
Okay.
score those too.
Okay, so you've got 6 scoring rounds and 2 practice rounds.
Yep.
One, half at each distance. Okay. And for the audience out there, is this just like they're probably picturing it? It's, a target, it's got a little circle in the middle, that's the, the true target, and then you get points for outside.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is kind of probably what people are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you hit the target? What's the scoring system? Let's start there. How's the scoring system work?
So there's 10 like total spots, like points that you can get, and like for each arrow, and the very middle is 10, and then it just goes out by like 9 and then 8 and 7, like goes out, and then you shoot all 5 arrows, and if you get all in the 10, you get a 50, which is like really special, and you get like you get a pin and stuff, and they announce your name.
Cool.
So I think that's pretty cool, and I don't know, it's just it's hard to explain.
Okay. No, I think you've explained it perfect. You've done a very good job. So, I have a feeling they do not remove the arrows after you shoot one, right? They don't remove
No.
it.
All 5 go in the target.
And
So
so,
that small 1.5-inch ring,
You
you
get-
get your 50, all 5 arrows will be in it, and or touching the line going into it, around it.
okay. And, folks, imagine an 1.5-inch circle at 10 meters, which is about 33 feet, I think, or something like that in American terms. You've got to put 5 arrows. Now, these are target arrows. They're not broadhead arrows for hunting or anything. These are target arrows, so they've got a small head on them. But you've got to put 5 arrows into an 1.5-inch circle, and those arrows are going to hit each other. I mean, the 4th and 5th arrow are bound to hit the other 3 if the other 3 are clumped together. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So that makes it even tougher to get 5 out of 5 in there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually had a archer at the state tournament get a true Robin Hood, stuck an arrow inside another arrow, which at the Minnesota State Tournament has never happened before.
Well,
Because they have a aluminum bushing inside there
Yeah.
to keep them from doing that.
Yeah.
And he had it so dead center that it went through the knock and in there. And we have a lot of arrow maintenance when we get to better archers, because they do hit arrow on
Yeah.
arrow if it is hitting the fletching, which is the feathers on the arrow, or the nocks.
Does an arrow ever fall out? And if so, what is that? Does that count against, or any no harm, no foul, or what?
I don't think an arrow, like, I haven't seen anybody's arrow, like, actually falling out of the target because they're, like, in so deep.
Yeah. Okay.
All the bows, like I explained, are the same poundage, or can go up to the same poundage.
Yeah.
So that's 20 pounds. We can turn them down to about 11, and at that, now instead of the arrow going straight to the target, it gets lofted into the target.
Oh, okay.
And them, because of the less poundage, they get less arrow speed, and they may
Your phone is ringing.
bounce
Pick
back.
up your phone. Your
Sorry, people. I have a bunny rabbit purse. I have a bunny rabbit purse ringing. Help!
And back to these arrows that bounce out during a tournament or during a scoring round. If an arrow bounces back, the archer can raise their hand, and a line judge will give them another arrow to reshoot that arrow.
Okay.
If it bounces out of the target.
Okay. We'll put the bunny rabbit back now, folks. The bunny rabbit purse, backpack, whatever it is.
So, Shiloh, what are you hoping to get out of going to nationals, and do you have any personal goals?
I'm just trying to get higher up in like the ranking. Like I know everybody's trying to do that. My goal is like hopefully a 295, and like the highest you can possibly get is a 300. And I feel if I get a 295, it'll do pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for that.
Okay. What do you have a state ranking?
Well, she qualified at the state tournament 4th
Okay.
out of that particular shoot. There isn't a ranking like classified because it's an individual / team sport.
Okay. Okay.
We didn't talk about the team part of it compared to the individuals, but so each tournament you can shoot higher. So like I had mentioned, or there's 2 separate national tournaments. There's an East and a West. West was 2 weeks ago, and we had a number of Minnesota teams that shot at that. And the highest score for a high school male was 296.
Wow.
It was a Minnesota kid.
Okay. Okay.
So that's 4 points down. So 4 or less arrows were not 10s
Yeah.
out of all 60 arrows.
Yep. Shiloh, what's your personal record?
My personal record, we didn't do it in practice, but when I was doing my personal practices after our season was over, I've gotten a 294. That's my highest.
294. Okay. What's your highest in competition?
I think 288. Or yeah, 288. I've gotten a 288.
That's darn good. All right, we got to bring in Mom here.
Yep.
Come on in, Mom.
Here watching.
Come on. And this is Kelly, correct?
Yes. Hello.
Kelly Bongers,
Yep.
Shiloh's mom. So what do you think? I don't even know if she's a teenager at that point, but your young daughter comes home and says, Mom, this archery thing is cool. What was your thought?
Well, she started off actually. She went and did it with Hattie, and she came home the first several practices and said how much she just couldn't stand it because all she could shoot was 1s and 2s. She couldn't hit anywhere towards the center of the target, and she was so frustrated. And we just kept telling her, just keep practicing and keep trying. And by the end of the season, she was coming home and getting angry because she was shooting 8s. She says, I'm not getting all 9s and 10s, and now I'm frustrated. So that first season of hers was a huge improvement.
So there's some serious perseverance there, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah. And then the traveling began.
Yep.
Is it a big traveling competitive sport? I drove my kids all over the country, literally all over the country for bowling. So what's the travel like for Shiloh?
Well, we've gone up to Becker and Princeton, and
Every tournament seems to be about an hour
Yeah.
away.
Okay.
Besides our own tournament.
So that's pretty.
and New Prague.
Yeah, so that's not bad considering we were driving to Las Vegas and to Texas and okay, all right, Chicago, Indiana. So that's really cool though. How a friend got her introduced, which is really the way a lot of youth get introduced to a sport is they have a friend do it and the friend invites them and it's like, hey, this is kind of cool. Are you still friends with Hattie now that you can beat her? I'm
Yeah.
assuming you can beat her.
Of course.
Yeah, of
I've
course
never
you can
stopped
beat
being
her.
friends with her.
Of course you can beat her. Of course you're so
Of course
friends.
I can beat her too.
Oh, okay. I hope she's listening.
Yeah.
Hattie, if you want to rebuttal, you can come in any Saturday between 10 and 10:30. We're at Jana's Marketplace. Come on in, Hattie. You can have a rebuttal. But we've got about 4 minutes left. Is there anything I haven't touched on?
Well, we have, like I had mentioned, at the Heritage Days Parade, we'll hand out flyers for a open shoot where we'll be down at the fairgrounds. It'll be on the 18th and the 19th from 6 to 7:30, and the team will be there helping new archers learn how to do it. We'll have the equipment. People can just show up. We'll give them instructions on how to get started, and then in October of next year, we'll have an open house again at the
Okay.
archery club,
Okay.
and that's when the new archers come in, and old archers will come back and re-register. And I believe our Faribault tournament's going to be the first Saturday in January at the high school.
Okay.
Yep. As of right now, it's a save the date.
January, okay.
In January.
Okay.
All the tournaments for this sport are in high schools.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice that they allow the club sports to come in. So, we kind of covered, yes, parents, grandparents, guardians, they can bring their kids out, introduce them to archery at the Rice County Fairgrounds. And you would have some extra bows and stuff, so you could introduce people to the event, or the sport, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, and it didn't sound like the bows are tremendously expensive. I think you said around $200 or so, which...
Correct.
For a competitive sport, I mean, that's... Shiloh, do you have more than one bow?
No, I only have one.
Okay. Do competitors have more than one? I mean, they're all the same, so I would think probably not.
We actually give some away throughout the season. At our banquet, we gave one away, and we raffled it off for a fundraiser for Shiloh to go down to nationals.
Okay.
And there's many times at different tournaments they give them away and stuff. But the team itself probably has 20 bows.
Okay.
That you can
test
have for the
out.
whole
Yeah.
season.
Okay.
And once we issue a bow, that bow stays with that archer through the whole season.
Okay.
They get a case, they get arrows, they get everything they need, and there's a deposit that we return
Perfect.
at the end.
Okay. How about funding? Do you guys do fundraisers? Do you need funding? What do you need?
Well, there's a fee to join the team. You get a shirt. You get paid into all the tournaments except for regions and state and nationals. That is funding that's aside from what the team pays. And then to help pay for the archery club to keep the lights on, the heat on, Tri-Lake Sportsman donates to the club.
Perfect. So Shiloh, next weekend
Yeah.
is your competition?
Yeah, it's next weekend.
Awesome. Well, good luck. I hope you do real well. I'm sure you'll have just a fantastic experience at this. This is going to be a good time for you. And Mom, are you going?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. You wouldn't miss it, huh?
No, wouldn't miss it for the world.
All right. Will you come back then in a week or two and tell us how you do?
Oh, of course.
Will you?
Yeah.
Awesome. See, we're not too bad, are we?
No.
And just remember, there's only millions of listeners out there because we're worldwide. So it's not a big deal. But, well, thank you very, very much for coming in. I really appreciate it. I've been trying to connect with your mom over the last couple weeks. And last week we didn't have a show and stuff. So I'm really glad that you got to come in this week before your big competition. And we definitely wish you luck and look forward to hearing about it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. All right, Tom. Coach Tom, thank you for coming in. And Mom Kelly, thank you for letting your daughter come in and tell us about this. This is a cool sport. Cool competitive thing.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, folks, that is just about wraps up the Coaches Show down here at Jana's Market. I'm Royal Ross with G&H Properties. G&H Properties located in beautiful downtown Faribault, right across the street from the post office in the Depot Square building. Full-service real estate company featuring a sales and leasing division, an association management division, and a residential property management division. So if you need any services in the... Oh, and we also have storage. We now have a huge storage facility, storage division. So now I guess we're up to 4 pillars. But folks, if you need anything in the real estate world, give G&H a call at 507-334-3499. Once again, my name is Royal Ross. I thank you all for listening. It's been a great show talking to Shiloh Bongers, and we wish her...
All the